Hey guys, gonna make a little video for you. I get a ton of questions about my Foundry furnace. It's one of my most popular videos, and I just get inundated with questions about the way I made it, the materials I used to make it, and the dimensions of it. I was fortunate. I didn't have a book or anything like that to kind of go by or anything like that. I just had a couple friends that had been doing it for a long time and just sort of helped me out. So I kind of came up with my own design as far as the actual furnace body itself. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the dimensions of my furnace and the materials that I used to make it. First things first, I used a 15-gallon drum, and this is what it looks like right here. This is the skin of the furnace. And it was just a 15-gallon drum that I cut, like, I don't know, 6 or 8 inches out of the middle of here. So to make it a little shorter. So that's the main furnace body itself. The cement that I used is known as Refractory Cement. And that's what it looks like right there. This brand is known as Heat Stop 50. It withstands temperatures of 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. They make refractory cements that withstand a little bit higher temperature, but this is what I had available, and it seems to be working okay so far. So those are the main materials. You're going to also need a few other things. Like this is they call it a form tube. I got this from Lowe's. Okay, and that's what it looks like, 8-inch form tube. And this is what I use to form out the bore of the furnace itself. You're also going to need a few things. I used a 2-inch. I used 2-inch pipe here at the top of my lid for my furnace, and I also used a 2-inch pipe back here in the back of the furnace, right here, and that's what I attach my real burner to. So here's the dimensions of it. Okay, I'm going to back the camera off here. So, okay. So, the main body of the furnace from the bottom to the top is going to be 14 inches. So from here to here is 14 inches. The top is 4 inches thick. Okay. So those are the main dimensions of the furnace itself. What I did was, when I cut the center of it out, and what I did with the lid here was, before I put the concrete in there, I took the lid and took this 2-inch piece and set it in the center. I have spokes, like a bicycle tire spokes, coming out from the inside, on the inside from the 2-inch tube to the inside of the lid here, that I have welded in place, just spokes all the way around, and I did that so it would hold the concrete in there. So what I did was, once I had that all in there like a bicycle tire, spokes of a bicycle tire, I took this and I set it on a piece of cardboard and I filled it up with the concrete on the piece of cardboard, and that's the way I did that. When I did the furnace, the body itself, when I packed it with a refractory, I used my form tube, and the form tube just went all the way down to the bottom of the furnace, and I just packed the refractory around the form tube. And then once it was all done, once it was set up, I just pulled my form tube out, and that's how I got that. So the thickness of the concrete is I get 2 3/4 on this side. This side I get like 3 inches. It's about 3 inches all the way around. Alright. Now, on the inside here, okay, see if I can show you. What I did was, once I had the form tube and pulled out, you can imagine that it was a straight hole all the way down to the bottom of the furnace, and you could see the steel. So what I did was, I took let me see if you can see in here, make sure you guys are getting a good view. Okay, you can see that inside here there's a hole. Okay, so there's a thickness of concrete here. What I did was I took a duct tape roll that just had the tube. There was no tape left on it, just the cardboard tube, and set it in there, and I mixed another batch of refractory and packed refractory around that. And you can see there's a hole that goes all the way through the bottom, and that's in case if you have a spill, the metal has a chance to flow out of the bottom of your furnace. Okay, and to cover the hole when I'm actually using the furnace, I have my plate here. This is another plate that I made, and I just cast a plate out of refractory. I used a piece of this 8-inch tube, and I cut it, the thickness of this, and just packed it with the refractory. And this just goes in here like that, and the crucible sets on top of that. So that's pretty much it, guys. Pretty simple. A few things you want to remember when you make your refractory cement, when you get ready to do it. Use as little water as possible, and when you mix it, you want the consistency of like mashed potatoes type of consistency. You don't want a batter that you're going to pour in. The way I did it was I just was scooping it out with my hand and just packing it around the tube and making sure I get all the air bubbles out. Your hands are going to get dirty. Just keep packing them in. Just keep packing it in and packing it in. And like I said, make sure you get all the air bubbles out. The more water you have in there, the longer it's going to take your refractory cement to dry. And there's a break-in process that you're going to want to do when you first get your furnace all set up, ready to go. You don't want to just fire it up for the first time and try to melt aluminum or something like that. What you're going to want to do is, the best thing to do is take an incandescent bulb, like an old lamp that'll fit inside your furnace, just an old, desktop lamp, and turn it on, just a 100-watt bulb, and let the 100-watt bulb just sit in there overnight, and then open the lid during the day, and do that for 2 or 3 nights. Then you're going to want to do a really low temp melt. Like if you can get some lead to melt, I would recommend doing a few lead melts before you actually take it to the next step. And because what you don't want to do is, the more moisture that's in the concrete initially, if you try to fire it full blast the first time before you break it in, you're just going to crack your cement, and that's no fun because you just spent all the money on it. So hopefully that answers some questions. Like I said, you can see how I have a video online on my playlists that shows how I actually built the frame for it, that it sits on, the frame that it sits on and rolls around on, and how I did the lid, different things like that. So I also have a video on how I built the burner, the real burner, and I also have a video on how I built my crucible. So thanks for watching, and hopefully this answers a lot of questions. If not, leave some more comments and I'll make another video if I have to, or whatever else. So thanks a lot for watching.